Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate, and I'm glad to be joined on the set tonight by Councilman Clyde Hamner. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
All right, first, word of congratulations for you. I see you've been elected as the state president for Louisiana Retired Teachers Association. That's the LRTA.
Yes, correct.
Congratulations. But if you can tell everybody out there exactly, what all the LRTA exactly
I'd be
is.
happy to, yeah. Before I start, though, I want to point out that I'm wearing two LRTA pins for this segment. The bottom one is the current LRTA pin that most members wear, but the top one belonged to my mother-in-law, Retta Leday, who was, she taught at Ellender Junior High way back when, and she was one of the people that laid the groundwork to make LRTA the well-known and respected organization that it is today. So I wore that in her honor. It was her pin, and I got the honor of wearing it today.
Well, I'm sure it was a great inspiration for you.
She was. She was a very endearing woman. But LRTA is a nonprofit, member-driven organization for public education retirees. Everybody from support workers, teachers, principals, superintendents, supervisors, when they retire, they usually join the Louisiana Retired Teachers Association. Not everybody, it's an optional thing to do. We currently have approximately 20,000 dues-paying members in the organization, and its mission is to promote professional, the social, and the economic welfare of retirees in the state, not just teachers, but all retirees. And we also play a key role in advocating for state legislation that safeguards and enhances the retirement benefits for the 83,000 members of the teachers' retirement system of Louisiana. It's really an honor and a blessing to be part of an organization that's dedicated itself to the quality of life for retirees in Louisiana. Anytime you have an opportunity to serve people who share the same passions as you, it's really a blessing, and I can't think of a more important calling than that.
Okay, can you tell me, when you first got involved with the LRTA?
Yeah, when I retired from the Terrebonne Parish School System as a principal, I joined the LRTA. I became a member of the Terrebonne Retired Teachers Association and got involved with them as an officer, and later got on a few committees for at the state level. I served on the State Budget Committee and the State Legislative Committee for LRTA. Eventually, I was nominated to run for second vice president of the organization, and became second vice president for a couple of years and moved up to first vice president. Then that was in 22, and then most recently was elected as president of the organization.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. And I see you've been, you've gone before the legislature to testify, and both locally, and I think you've gone to Washington as well.
Well, that's two separate things. In the state legislature, we have a number of legislative priorities, and yes, I've testified on several issues over the years in both the House and the Senate on retirement legislation, whether it was for teachers' retirement or it affected, there are actually 4 major flagship retirement systems in Louisiana, and we usually all fall under the same laws that come up. So we're very much a watchdog group for teachers' retirement and for the Louisiana School Employee Retirement System, state police, and the public employees retirement system, those that work for the state employees retirement system. Some of our priorities are where we oppose any removal of constitutional protections in the Louisiana state constitution that protect retirement benefits and retirement systems. Currently, we're closely watching the likelihood of a state constitutional convention. We know that probably will come up. And our current constitution has protections for retirement systems, and we don't want to see those protections removed. We support legislation for permanent benefit increases. Just last year, and I testified in the Senate on the legislation that created a new, more predictable model for funding future COLAs for current retirees and future retirees. The system that we currently have, it's not in effect yet. It's going to take some time, but the system we have now is is dependent on investment returns for TRSL, and they're not pre-funded. You have to. This new system will actually pre-fund future COLAs so that we know when we're getting them. It won't be a guesswork every year. That bill was sponsored by Ed Price, Senator Ed Price, and supported by Paige Cortez. And it is really a unique piece of legislation, and I don't know if any other states that have this type of pre-funding for retirement, for COLAs, cost of living adjustments, PBIs, whatever you want to call them. And the remarkable thing about it is that nearly every legislator in the House and the Senate recognize that even permanent benefit increases devalue over time because of inflation, and they helped pass this thing. Had one vote against it.
Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty successful. We do have to take a quick break, but I'd love to talk to you a little bit more in the next segment. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
From the moment you walk into the showroom floor at Trapp Cadillac, you understand our commitment to providing a truly exceptional experience for all returning and new customers.
Our goal is to make sure you're always comfortable while understanding the entire process of getting into your new Trapp Cadillac.
When you drive a Trapp Cadillac, you know performance, bold styling, and our assured commitment to service.
One thing you can always count on here at Trapp Cadillac is our excellent service experience.
Welcome back to Bayou Time. I'm Jacob DeGate, and I'm here with Terrebonne Parish Councilman Clyde Hamner, who has been elected to the LRTA as its president. Again, congratulations.
Thank you, Jason.
But before the break, we were talking a little bit, about some of the testimony that you've given, particularly in front of the state legislature. But I know you also went before Washington and talked about, a windfall elimination provision. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. It's a good topic. It's very controversial. The windfall elimination provision and the government pension offsets of the Social Security Administration, it penalizes public employees who work jobs outside of public employment. It hurts people who worked in the private sector and started maybe a second career as a teacher later on in life, and they've paid in and earned a Social Security benefit, but then did not retire, went on and did a second career, and when they go to retire, because they've earned a public pension, Social Security reduces what they did earn. As a private sector employee. It especially hurts widows and widowers whose spouse may have worked in public employment and they worked spouse worked in private employment and they worked in public employment. When the spouse dies, that widow or the widower would normally be eligible for a Social Security benefit, but because they are earning themselves a public pension, the Social Security reduces their Social Security benefit. And this is not just on teachers. This is state employees, state police, assessors, clerks of court, DAs, sheriffs, firefighters, and it's really one of the most unfair things our federal government's done to public servants. Currently, Garrett Graves is sponsoring HR 82. It's called the Social Security Fairness Act, which, if passed, would repeal weapons GPO. But it's got a lot of uphill obstacles. Does have 324 co-sponsors in the House, and there is a companion bill in the Senate, and we're hoping that it'll get out of committee and go to a vote on the floor this year, but we're waiting to see.
Yeah, and I know for a lot of people out there that they're keeping an eye on that because that's their future that they're worried about. I mean, and not knowing not having that security, that knowledge of what's going to happen is always worrisome.
And the shame of it is a lot of people don't even know it's going to affect them until it's too late.
Yeah. That's another thing to deal with, to get that may have to work later or in life that you didn't plan on.
That's correct.
It certainly is a big issue out there. But now tell me more about your role in the LRTA on your meetings. How often are you meeting, and where do y'all normally meet?
Well, we our state meeting, as a matter of fact, is our state convention is going to be right here in Terrebonne Parish in October, at the end of October, the weekend after Rougarou Fest.
Okay.
So wish it could be the same weekend. That would really pull them in. But we're expecting a large turnout because it's going to be the first time it's going to be here in Terrebonne Parish. And I'm looking forward to hosting this event for retirees from Shreveport and Calcasieu and Rapides, and they're going to come from all over. And we're currently looking at ways to keep the costs down for the hotel for our retirees, and so we can bring as many in as possible. They're usually very well attended. It's a small convention, which is why we were able to have it here at the Marriott, but it's very well attended.
Well, it'd be certainly interesting to get a bunch of people into this area and show them, what all Terrebonne has to offer, which is a lot.
It does. One thing I wanted to point out, as a councilman, I was very much interested in, when I think of the number of retirees, the economic impact that the retirees have. People don't realize that just in Terrebonne Parish, we have 1,625 retired teachers, 1,500 of which still live in this parish. And their benefit checks hit our economy to the tune of $44 million in a year. Wow. In Lafourche Parish has 1,921 retirees, most of whom still live in Lafourche. And the economic impact of their collective retirement fund, or individual retirements, is to the tune of just over $55 million.
Wow, so that's $100 million right there.
Yeah, those just, and I think across the state, it's the economic impact of retirement checks for teachers alone is $1.3 billion. Wow. So those legislators better pay attention to those their former teachers.
Yeah, certainly.
They could make or break a state, and they're very politically active. People often assume that retired people are going to go play golf or go fishing, but they get involved quite a bit in political activities. Activism, and
you can say what you want and not have to worry about the consequences.
Exactly.
Anymore.
They're no longer constrained by the workforce policies on what they can say politically. And look, those ladies and gentlemen, they say what they say, and what they feel.
All righty. Well, thank you again for coming on. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but we appreciate it.
Oh, wow, already. Thank you,
All right.
Jason,
You are.
Jacob.
All righty. Stay tuned for more right here on HTV.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough.